Welcome to my Shatter Me reading vlog.
I feel like I'm terrified to post this video. Aaron Warner.
How dare you? It's almost time for war.
Hello, my friends. Welcome back to my vlog channel. Today I have a pretty exciting series reading vlog for you. So today we are going to be attempting to read at least the first 3 books in the Shatter Me series. This series is everywhere. Everywhere I go, whether it's Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, I cannot escape this series. I cannot escape Aaron Warner. I cannot escape the fan edits. I don't think it is going to be like my favorite series, but I have got a few comments asking if I've read this series, what I think about it, and I figured since it is so popular and it's very likely that everyone's read this before me. I'm very late to the game, like over 10 years late, that I figured this would be the perfect series to do like a full, spoilery, in-depth reading vlog. I'm gonna give all my thoughts, opinions as stuff happens, my reactions. So if you somehow have not read the Shatter Me series like me, but you don't want to be spoiled, make sure you just skip this video. I will see you in the next one. Love you so much. Shatter Me was originally published in like 2011 or 2012. It is a 6-book plus novella YA dystopian romance series. And it's about this girl, Juliet, who has a lethal touch. And so she, for like everyone's safety, has been locked up inside this like insane asylum prison type place where she's just locked in this cell. But then one day, a boy shows up in her cell. And that's kind of where things begin. I will say I did actually start the first book last year when I was in the airport waiting for a flight. I just had the audiobook on Scribd and I just started listening to it. I got about 50 pages in and I did not finish it. So I didn't get far. I love YA fantasy. I love YA dystopian. The 2012 like Hunger Games, Divergent. I was all over that shit back in the day. The Maze Runner. But for some reason I never picked up Shatter Me. I don't even remember people talking about it when I was like 11 or 12. I was fully just in my Divergent bubble, ignoring everything else, I guess. It is something that I probably would have picked up back then, knowing my tastes, but now I would be lying if I didn't say that I am nervous, but we're gonna do it together. We're gonna do it together. So whether you're a Shatter Me stan or a Shatter Me hate account or you just don't care, let's just grab a snack, a drink, and hang out and read the books together. I ordered the box set and it should get delivered tomorrow. So I will catch up with you tomorrow when we begin the readathon. Hello, I'm sorry if you can hear the dryer in the back. We're doing laundry, it's pretty loud, but an exciting package arrived that is prevalent to this video, so we're gonna open it. 3 months ago, I never would have imagined that I would be holding this in my hands, but here we are. We've got the box set, and today we're gonna be reading this series. Excuse my appearance, I just got home from the gym, so I need to go and shower. But I got too excited and I wanted to open the box first. So ideally by the end of this video, I will have read this entire series and had a great time. That's the goal, right? Whether we will be able to achieve that goal, I have no idea. Now, before any of you go crazy and start flooding my comments with, what about the novellas? Are you gonna read the novellas? Wait, did you remember that there's novellas? Yes, I know that there are novellas, but for the purpose of this video, I will only be sticking to the main books. Starting at book 1, page 1, do I think I'm going to like this series? I'm not sure. I feel like Shatter Me is just like brain candy. Everyone says this is their like comfort series, their guilty pleasure reads. Everyone that read this when it was originally getting published loves it. The fan base for these books is crazy and I have FOMO and I do want to be a part. I feel like I just gotta like at least push through the first like 2 books to really see how I'm feeling, you know? And I hope I become an Aaron Warner stan. Like I want to love it, okay? I'm gonna go in with positive vibes. I'm gonna go shower, fix this whole situation because I'm a sweaty mess right now, and I will start reading and I'll catch up with you when I made some progress. 17 pages in and we have our first typo, which isn't a good sign. I'm not gonna lie, so far the writing is quite a struggle to get through. I just hope that at some point in the series it switches from mostly being in Juliet's perspective and this weird internal monologue that we're getting a lot of. It's too flowery for no good reason, and it's just a little bit annoying right now, but I've heard that it's supposed to get better, so I'm hoping it does. And this is just like a temporary bump in the road, you know? Like, it's just a little bit
ridiculous. It's just a little bit ridiculous at this point. But I know that like 11, 12-year-old me would have eaten this shit up with a fucking fork. Like I would have been obsessed. So, I mean, I guess I can't really talk too much shit, right? Or can I? I don't know. I only know now that the scientists are wrong. The world is flat. Has me dying of laughter. I feel bad for Juliet. Like, she is so traumatized. She has like never had any touch or love or affection from anyone in her life, because apparently you like touch her, you die kind of a situation. And so she's missing so much of that connection. And I'm sure she's fucking like traumatized and mentally in a really bad place. So I feel bad for her, but like I just can't. I'm an asshole, okay? And it's kind of funny, some of the stuff that she thinks to herself. Okay, I took a shower, I put my hair up, made myself a little snack, and now I'm just cozying on the couch and I'm reading. I'm on page 67, chapter 12, and I feel like now I'm kind of seeing where the plot is going. Basically, Juliet was living in this insane asylum for children. She had been there for like almost a year, and then randomly a boy named Warner moves into her cell with her, and they kind of get talking. She doesn't know why he's there, he won't tell her anything, and then after a few days, Warner and his like crew that Adam, the guy that was living there, works for, they show up, they take the both of them, and it turns out that Adam was working for the reestablishment, which are apparently like the big bad guys, and so is Warner. And because of Juliet's power, I think they want to like use her as a weapon for their cause. Warner is basically like offering this collaboration, and that's interesting. Being in Juliet's perspective and the writing, it's silly. It is kind of silly at points, I'm not gonna lie. Some parts are like really beautiful, and then some parts are so absurd. Warner and Juliet definitely are gonna be like enemies to lovers, and I love enemies to lovers, so I don't mind that he's being quite cruel right now. Like he literally, like, he was getting aggressive. I'm a Card and Greenbrier stan, so I don't mind an aggressive enemies to lovers, okay? Like, I want them to be trying to kill each other. And then I know people love Kenji, and I know people don't like Adam. And that's basically the only thing that I know. As for the actual plot and like what happens and the goal, and I know nothing. Not one thing. So, also I am listening to the audiobook while I read. For some reason, my physical book has a lot of things cut out. Like the audiobook has so much excess description and it's just not necessary. So I'm definitely preferring reading it physically. But lately, I feel like I just don't understand or grasp what I'm reading unless I have an audiobook. Like, I'm in my dumb bitch era. When I dabble in a bit of this while I read, I feel like I need the audiobook at the same time to keep me focused and to help me understand what's going on. I'm gonna eat my apples and keep reading. I honestly think I might be able to finish this book today, so. Okay, so am I supposed to just suspend my disbelief and ship Adam and Juliet right now? Because they're really trying to force it to us. She's really trying to force it down my throat. Like the bird and the bird tattoo, and the fact that he can touch her without any gloves on. Also, I would compare this writing to Ugly Love by Colleen Hoover, but like times 10. Attempting to be very poetic and flowery, but just coming across as very pretentious and silly. But that means if you liked Ugly Love, you might like this series a lot. Just throwing it out there. She said, fuck them kids and fuck you too. Okay, hello. It's nearly 11 p.m. and I am sitting down to try and finish Shatter Me. I got to page 156, so I'm a little bit over halfway. As for the plot, nothing's really happened at all since I last talked to you. Juliet just hangs out with Warner every day, pretty much, while they try and convince her to join the resistance as a weapon. And then Adam and her are now like in love and like kissing. It's so funny because Adam and Juliet's relationship literally went from 0 to 100. And like apparently they were friends when they were children and they knew each other before. But the way this book is written, like you don't feel like that. You feel like they just met, so it just feels weird. They don't give you that childhood backstory. This is why I don't like childhood friends to lovers unless we get to see the full scenes of them as children. And I feel like they weren't even that close as kids. Like, I just don't understand why they like each other. I don't trust Adam. I think he's suspicious. I feel like the girlies hate him, so I'm just waiting for him to do some fuck shit. Thus far, Warner is kind of boring me. He was like pretty spicy for, you know, that good 20 pages.
But now he hasn't really done much of anything, so I'm hoping something shifts soon and we get a better plot. It just feels like the bare bones of a dystopian story right now. It feels like there's no substance to it. It just has all the components of a dystopian YA book, but none of them are really working together, if that makes sense.
I feel like this is just how you know the writing is bad, when women are always referred to as females, but men are referred to as men. Keep it consistent. Females and males, or women and men. Keep it consistent, please. It's just, why?
It's like writing 101. It's like writing 101.
Excuse me? Not Adam confessing his love? What is going on? I feel like they have known each other for like 2 seconds. Like, what? Not Adam confessing his love?
Okay, now Adam has a gun to Warner's head, and Warner literally said, if you don't exit out of here, I will kill her right now. If she moves even a millimeter, I will shoot her, and then I will rip you to pieces. Honestly, they kind of deserve it. I stand with him. I'm rooting for the villain in this story, and I don't even care. Like, this book is just like a lot of pain and suffering, but for no like actual reason thus far. I take a deep breath and hope Warner doesn't realize what just happened. I hope he doesn't know that he just touched my leg and nothing happened. Oh, so both Warner and Adam can touch her. Why did every YA dystopian feel the need for a love triangle? Like, love triangles had everyone by the throat. Good morning. It is the next day, and today's mission is to finish Shatter Me.
Me and this little guy are hanging out on the couch together
While I read. I'm on page 205, chapter 31. Adam and Juliet are like running away from the reestablishment. Adam like convinced Warner that there was a tank that was broken so that Adam could use it as like a car that they could use to like drive away. And now they just showed up at Adam's house, and Juliet just discovered that Adam has a brother named James. And I just don't care. In this entire 300-page dystopian novel, we have maybe 5 pages of world building and like plot descriptions. But otherwise, it's just 90% Juliet's whiny inner thoughts and 10% make out scenes. And that's pretty much all that we've got so far. I'm on page 240. I feel like we're finally getting some like red flags about Adam, because Kenji is trying to like make a move on Juliet, and Juliet's trying to tell him like, I'm not interested, and she wants to talk about how her and Adam are pretty much boyfriend and girlfriend. Like, Adam literally told his brother that Juliet was his girlfriend. Adam is so adamant, pun intended, about telling Juliet he loves her, about them like, you know, making out, getting all hot and heavy, but then when Kenji's around, he doesn't say anything. So I don't know, that's very weird. And Kenji, despite the fact that Juliet has said, I'm not interested, stop trying to put moves on me, he doesn't stop. He just continues by saying that he likes it when she threatens him, and it's because she's got a sexy voice that makes everything sound naughty. And it just seems like Kenji's trying to like rile up Adam, because every time he says something, like, Adam just gets fucking mad and possessive and weird. Calm down, Ken. Damn, I'm just messing with you guys. I like seeing psycho chick get all intense. From what I understand, people that love this series always talk about Kenji as like the class clown, like he's really funny, but in this book, he's just annoying. He's just being annoying. If a man ever tried flirting with me and I was like, I am not interested, please leave me alone, and then they kept calling me sexy, kept like, you're getting beat up. Like, I'll punch you in the face. I don't like the guns. I'm not a gun. I'm not a fan of all the guns. And like, Juliet has a gun for some reason, and she's like pointing the gun at Kenji at some point. Why do you even have that, girl? You can just touch him. Like, you don't even need a weapon. You are the weapon. Okay, we are on page 300. This place that Castle manages is called Omega Point. And it is a group of resistance people that want to fight against the reestablishment because they've discovered that the reestablishments have been lying to them. They like keep everyone secluded away from all the food and water and resources, and they tell them that the world is like fucked, but in reality they're just hoarding all the goods for themselves. There's about 200 people apparently in this Omega Point place, and about half of them have powers like Juliet. So hopefully that means in the next book we will get more clarity on the magic system and how these powers work. But we found out that Castle has like telekinesis and can like move things with his mind. Very Matilda of him. I love that. We've also met some British guy named Brendan who is like super, super, super pale. His skin is white, his eyes are white, his hair is white. I'm just assuming he's British because he says
Bloody confusing is what that is.
so. I don't know, it's not clarified, but maybe he's just like me and randomly uses a British accent for no reason. Maybe he too has watched a few too many seasons of Love Island. I don't know. I'm hoping that this book ends on a big cliffhanger and that by the next book we are getting more plot, more substance. This book really ends talking about a sexy superhero. Her putting on her little unitard and Adam saying that she looks like a sexy superhero. That's the end of this book. You're actually kidding. Things are changing, but this time I'm not afraid. This time I know who I am. This time I've made the right choice and I'm fighting for the right team. I feel safe, confident, excited even. Because this time, I'm ready. 1 star. When Hunger Games and The Folk of the Air and Six of Crows and Scythe and Divergent, when those all exist, how dare you publish this? Ooh, this was bad. But now that we know about the Omega place and we know that there are other people with magic abilities and it seems like they're forming a fucking superhero, this is turning into, you know, a Guardians of the Galaxy type story. At least I know where we're going. So I feel like the second book has so much more potential. First books in a series are rarely ever that great or the best. I'll talk to you when I start the next book. But for now, I need to cleanse my soul with something that actually feels good to read. It has been a few days and I'm just sitting down doing some laundry, answering emails, and I have started the Unravel Me audiobook. But unfortunately, I can already tell that there is little difference in the writing style from book 1 to book 2. I was kind of hoping that maybe it would shift up a bit in this book, and as of right now, it's still very much the same. And I figured that for those of you that haven't read this series and are just watching this for fun, maybe I should read some of the passages in this book to kind of help you understand the writing style. "We're running out of time," he said. "As if time were the kind of thing you could run out of. As if it were measured into bowls that were handed to us at birth, and if we ate too much, or too fast, or right before jumping into water, then our time would be lost, wasted, already spent. But time is beyond our finite comprehension. It's endless. It exists outside of us. We cannot run of it, or lose track of it, or find a way to hold on to it. Time goes on even when we do not. We have plenty of time, is what Castle should have said. We have all the time in the world, is what he should have said to me. But he didn't, because what he meant, tick-tock, is that our time, tick-tock, is shifting. It's hurtling forward, heading in an entirely new direction, slamming face first into something else, and tick, 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 tick. It's almost time for war." It's just so ridiculous is the only word that I can use to describe it. It is ridiculous. I feel like this just would have benefited from like a lot of editing. I love flowery, poetic, lyrical writing. I love it. I studied creative writing in college as my minor and I focused a lot on poetry and I love it, okay? When it comes to adding really poetic and lyrical writing into a full-length story, I feel like less is more. There are some passages in here that I read and I'm like, okay, that's actually kind of nice. It just feels like the author was just trying to do too much, trying to be a little bit too poetic, a little bit too flowery, and focused so much on the dramatics and the emotions that the core parts of the story, the plot, the characters, the development, the world building, the magic system, fell to the wayside. As for the plot, nothing else has changed since the end of book 1. We're still just at Omega Point. Juliet's like training or whatever. The leader guy named Castle, which such a stupid name, but whatever, comes to Juliet and is like, hey girlie, you need to start eating lunch with these other kids. Like, you need to stop eating lunch alone with Adam. Juliet is very much the kind of girl that's like, the second she gets a boyfriend, she doesn't speak to anyone else ever again besides her boyfriend. Which is fine. Obviously, Juliet feels the most comfortable with Adam. He's the only one that can touch her. Like, I understand why Juliet does and says and thinks a lot of things that she does, because she is traumatized. Like, she did not have an easy childhood. But either way, Castle's like, yeah, the other kids are like kind of afraid of you and they're kind of standoffish because you literally don't even look at them when you walk through the halls. You ignore everyone, you haven't spoken to anybody, you don't make any effort to be these people's friends. Why would you expect them to just like you? And Juliet's like, oh my gosh, I didn't know. She's been isolated for a long time. She don't know how to act around people, but like, damn girl, it's just, It's kind of annoying. I'm just waiting for Warner to return. I'm ready for Warner to come in and blow this shit up, because if there's gonna be anything that can save this series for me, it will probably be Aaron Warner. I haven't been able to read too much more because I got swept up in work, but I am on chapter 7. Apparently, they've been doing some tests looking into the fact that Adam can touch Juliet without being injured, obviously, and they found out some stuff, but like, Adam won't tell Juliet anything. He won't tell Juliet what's going on. He won't tell you what they found out about him and her powers, and he just like literally won't talk to her. Love the miscommunication trope. I think Juliet is trying to wrangle Kenji to tell her or help her figure out what the fuck's going on. So hopefully we get some answers soon, because I don't want to keep reading about this. Hello everyone, it is the next day. Last night I was listening to the audiobook, did some more reading, and I'm up to chapter 21. But we have a few things that I want to discuss. So we have found out that the reason why Adam has been like so suspicious and weird is because it turns out that Adam's powers are actually like a shield that he uses to protect himself. And when Juliet touches him, he has to use his shield a lot, so it exhausts him. It's draining all of his energy. Obviously, Juliet, being the dramatic ass bitch that she is, me too girl, she takes this super, super personally and is basically like, me and Adam are over, like we can't be together, it's never gonna work, yada, yada, yada. So trouble in paradise there. Kenji also kind of finally managed to talk some sense into Juliet and be like, okay, like we need to stop messing around. You need to take this seriously. You need to come start training. You need to be a part of the group, like of the Omega Point group, instead of just like making no effort and wallowing around and being sad. Like we need to get stuff moving, which thank God for that, okay? Even though that serious ass talk from Kenji was completely out of character for him, like he's never been serious once. But I did like that he finally like called out Juliet and was like, girl, get it together. So she's currently trying to get it together. She then immediately goes to her roommates, who are just these nice healer girls named Sarah and Sonia. And after they heal her or whatever, they're just like talking, and they're like, if you ever need anything, if you need someone to talk to, like we're here for you. And she's like, you know what? Yeah, maybe I will make my first ever female friend. Which to me is like the biggest red flag. I get that Juliet has a lethal touch and like hasn't had many friends at all growing up because of it. But like if you make your first female friend when you're 17 and you already have like a bunch of male friends, I don't know. That's a red flag for me. But at least we might finally see some character growth from Miss Juliet. And it's so funny because like the chapter directly after Juliet finds out about Adam's powers and that Juliet is actually just like draining him, the chapter directly after that, she starts thinking about Warner. And she's like, wow, Warner and I are actually pretty similar. Previously, she literally thought Warner was like the devil and just evil. And then the second she's like, well, I guess I can't be with Adam anymore. Suddenly Warner's not looking too bad. Now the Omega Point people are finally trusting Juliet to come with them on like this mission outside of the compound. So it's like 6 a.m. They're like, everybody meet here. We're gonna go. We have to dress like we're normal civilians to hide, but we are leaving the compound. I don't know what they're leaving the compound to do. No one explains any of this to Juliet, so us as the readers also have no idea. But while they're trying to like leave the compound, Juliet sees Warner like 20 feet away from her and this like puppy that like runs up to him, and she expects him to just like kill this dog in front of her, and is shocked to find out that he actually like gives the dog some food and is like being caring and nice towards this dog. And I think she's about to get caught by Warner's people when Kenji like grabs her and is like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, we need to leave. That's basically the summary of everything that's happened since we last spoke. I am happy to see Warner return because I feel like I'm interested in his character. I'm interested to see how his relationship with Juliet is going to develop and change. I'm kind of just over the Adam Omega Point stuff. I just don't really care that much about it. Okay, I was gonna go just listen, but I need to read you the stuff that Kenji is saying to Juliet right now because honestly, maybe I am a Kenji stan after this. Juliet, of course, somehow in this conversation where Kenji's like, girl, why the fuck are you being reckless? We need to focus. Juliet somehow manages to bring up Adam and their breakup, of course. She just like me for real. And then Kenji just gets annoyed and Juliet's like, it's fine, we can go. We don't have to talk about my breakup or whatever. And Kenji's like, it's not that I don't care what you're going through. It's not like I want to see you all depressed or whatever. It's just that this life is already messed up as it is. And I'm sick of you being so caught up in your own little world all the time. You act like this whole thing, everything we do is a joke. You don't take any of it seriously. All you do is sit around and think about your feelings. You've got problems. Boo freaking who. Your parents hate you and it's so hard, but you have to wear gloves for the rest of your life because you kill people when you touch them. Who gives a shit? As far as I can tell, you've got food in your mouth and clothes on your back and a place to pee in peace whenever you feel like it. Those aren't problems. That's called living like a king. And I'd really appreciate it if you'd grow the hell up and stop walking around like the world crapped on your only roll of toilet paper because it's stupid. It's stupid and it's ungrateful. You don't have a clue what everyone else in the world is going through right now. You don't have any clue, Juliet, and you don't seem to give a damn either. No, because he ate her up. Cleared her in 0.3 seconds. Absolutely. Everything that Kenji just said, I agree. Stop crying. Stop sitting in the dark counting all your individual feelings about how sad and lonely you are. Wake up. You're not the only person in this world who doesn't want to get out of bed in the morning. You're not the only one with daddy issues and severely screwed up DNA. You could be whoever the hell you want to be now. You're not with your shitty parents anymore. You're not in a shitty asylum. You're no longer stuck being Warner's experiment. Make a choice. Make a choice and stop wasting everyone's time. I get the Kenji girlies. I understand. That redeemed Kenji's character for me. Okay, hello. I finished my work for the day. I'm whitening my teeth right now, but I'm getting some reading done. I just got to page 240, chapter 37, and shit is hitting the fan. Basically, Warner's dad came back and tried to set up like a hostage trade situation with Juliet. So Juliet shows up, is having a little kiki with Warner and Warner's dad, who is like the supreme guy. He basically explains that this was all just a way to get all of the Omega Point people in his territory so he could just kill everyone. And so Juliet's like, okay, then why don't you kill me? And Warner's dad is like, well, you're kind of pretty. Then for some reason, Juliet admits to Warner's dad that the only reason that she escaped last time was because she shot Warner. I don't know why you would admit that, girly, to the enemy, but go off. And then Warner's dad gets really, really mad and is like, JK, I am not saving your life anymore. You're dying. And in fact, I'm gonna make Warner do it. So he gives Warner the gun and is like, shoot her. And then Warner's like, I'm not gonna shoot her. I'll shoot you. And they're going at it. And while they're busy, Juliet's like, suddenly maybe let me do something. So she just grabs Warner's dad by the throat and shoots him a bunch. And I think she kills him. Okay, just kidding. Juliet does not actually manage to kill Warner's dad, Anderson, because suddenly Kenji is there and like shaking her, and so the bullet misses. Why would Kenji stop her from doing that? This is the big bad guy that the whole Omega Point is up against. Literally, they said like a few chapters ago that he's their biggest threat, and for some reason Kenji's like, let me fuck this up. Okay, so Kenji stopped the bullet because he's like, we can't kill him yet. We need to take Warner as hostage, and then we can use that to like maybe negotiate with him, I think. And then Adam runs in the room to like make sure Juliet's okay, and he sees Anderson, Warner's dad, on the ground and just like falls to the floor, and everyone's like, Adam, bestie, what's going on? My father. That man is my father. So, are Adam and Warner brothers? Love a good plot twist. Give it to me. I'm done whitening my teeth, and now I'm eating some apples. But I'm on page 280, and they have successfully taken Warner in as a hostage. And Castle's like, Juliet, you need to be the one to interrogate him and stuff, because he has all these feelings for you. Obviously, he's going to be more likely to tell you information. So Juliet goes in there, and Warner's just like, hey babe, read your diary. Oh my gosh, missed you. He's like, so yeah, can you just hang out with me for a bit before they kill me? And Juliet's like, we're not gonna kill you, silly. We're trying to exchange you to get our hostages back. And Warner's like, okay, well, that's really sweet of you, but my dad does not care about me, so I doubt he'll even care that I'm missing. And then the next chapter is just 2 days later. We just flash forward, and Juliet is like eating lunch with Kenji and Adam and James, and is like, hey, it's kind of weird that Aaron's dad has like not said anything. It's been 48 hours. And Adam's like, huh, you're right. We're just chilling for the next 2 days? Like, what went on in those 2 days? Nothing? Was it the weekend? They're like, Saturday, Sunday, we have the day off. Okay, I love that Warner snitched on Juliet and told Castle, he's like, yeah, Juliet can touch me. Oh, y'all didn't know? Oops. Oopsie. My head hurts. I'm confused. This is gonna be the death of me. Juliet, I would like that very much, to be your friend. I'd like that. Why was that kind of cute? Just me and a sleepy boy hanging out. I'm on chapter 58, and we just found out that Warner's power works very differently than Adam's. When Adam touches Juliet, he like puts defenses up and it drains him. Whereas when Warner touches Juliet, it gives him more power and he can actually feed off her energy and use her power. And he just used it on Kenji in front of everyone. And instead of being like scared or nervous that this man just stole her power from her and used it to hurt her best friend, instead Juliet's like, oh my god, he likes touching me. Ah! 1 step forward, 2 steps back every time. Gotta clean the feet. Yep. Gotta clean the peepers.
Oh my.
I've got 50 pages left. I'm eating dinner as I finish the book, but I just need to read you the sentence that I just fucking read. Tomorrow's the day that apparently Omega Point, like, we're going to war, we're going to fight, we're going to, you know, get our besties back, the hostages or whatever. And so Juliet's like going to bed, prepping herself to go to the battle tomorrow, and then Warner shows up at her door and is like, hey, and one thing leads to another, and they just start like aggressively hooking up. They're literally half naked, hot and heavy, like for YA. Whew. And then all of a sudden in the middle of it, Juliet finally decides to like rub 2 brain cells together and she's like, oh, what about Adam? So Juliet just starts pushing Warner away and is like, maybe I don't want to be with you. Oh my god, what am I saying? I don't even know where I'm finding these words, where they're coming from or which tree I've plucked them from. They just keep growing in my mouth, and sometimes I bite down too hard on an adverb or a pronoun, and sometimes the words are bitter, sometimes they're sweet, but right now everything tastes like romance and regret and liar, liar, pants on fire all the way down my throat. What the fuck did I just read? Like, if you use liar, liar, pants on fire in a serious metaphorical context, I don't know what to tell you. Right, I'm gonna finish this book, and then we'll talk about it. Well, that's over. Don't get me wrong, a bunch of stuff happened in this book, but it feels like nothing happened. Except for the reestablishment and Anderson just swapping hostages back and forth. I just find it funny that all of Juliet's friends and loved ones were basically put in danger at some point throughout this series thus far, and it doesn't take until her life is put in danger, until she gets shot, until she's bleeding on the floor. Now that your safety is in danger, now you decide, okay, I'm gonna use my touch and I'm gonna get fucking revenge, I'm gonna kill Anderson. And like, what about all the other people that have been dying around you that you've just been like, like, it's so ridiculous. Hello everyone. So it has been a few days since my last update, since I finished Unravel Me, and earlier today I had a lash appointment, and so while I was getting my lashes done, I started Ignite Me. I was listening to the audiobook and I got all the way to chapter 16, and basically all that has happened in the first 80 pages is we discovered a lot more about Warner's backstory, what his motivations were, how he feels about Juliet and his upbringing, and that he wants to help Juliet kill his dad. But we also learned about more of his like emotional motivations. We learned about his mother and how she has an illness very similar to Juliet's. Warner's mom cannot be touched even by herself. Like if her skin brushes against each other, like it causes her a lot of pain, so she's bedridden, she's very sick, and it just came up out of nowhere. And so Warner was basically like dedicating his life to try and figure out what was wrong with his mother. And that explains why he's so in love and obsessed with Juliet, and why he was like studying Juliet. Like through Juliet he could learn more about his mother's condition and if there's anything they could do about it. And then Juliet, she's finally like so angry at Warner's father, like that she's finally ready to be powerful and do something. Book 3, then our main protagonist finally decides that they want to do something. How fun. That happened, and then Kenji shows up, I guess, and Juliet goes off with Kenji. I don't really even understand that transition, but whatever. So now Juliet is with Kenji, and we have discovered that Omega Point was completely like bombed, and there was hundreds and hundreds of people that died, and there only 9 of them lived, which I'm gonna assume includes Kenji, Adam, Sonia, Sarah, James, conveniently, you know, all these people that we never met or don't care about died. So I guess I'm supposed to be sad about that. It has been nice reading something that's just so easy and mindless and very, very quick to get through. So that's nice. I could be half paying attention and still like fully comprehend everything, which is lovely. You know, sometimes you want that. Not every book has to be super challenging or thought-provoking or well thought out, or well plotted, or well written. Sorry. So it has been about a week since I last checked in. I am not gonna lie, this put me in such a slump. I've had no motivation to read, not just this series, but like anything. So since we last spoke, I've probably read maybe 20 pages. I'm right around page 100. I think I'm gonna do something a little bit controversial, and I'm gonna DNF this book and the rest of the series. I know everyone says that this is like the fan favorite, the best book in the series, but honestly, like at this point, I just don't care about any of these characters. I don't care about what happens to them. I don't care about the plot. I'm just not interested. I will probably go and find the lift your hips for me love scene just so I can read that little bit and see what all the girlies are freaking out about. Otherwise, yeah, it's not for me. Reading is something that I want to have a healthy relationship with. If I'm not enjoying a book, if I'm not liking a book, I don't want to force myself to finish it. I want to do things that make me happy. And I want the same for all of you. So if what would make you happy is reading this book 70 times over, then bestie, I support that decision and I hope you love it. I think for my own well-being and sanity, I'm gonna DNF the rest of the books. Overall, when it comes to the Shatter Me series as a whole, I definitely understand where the hype comes from. Like, I get why people love it. I understand why it has such a big fan base, because it is really, really easy to read. Like, it's super, super easy to just fly through. The words are big on the pages. Holy shit. It's like pouring rain and thunder. Even Mother Nature is weeping that I didn't finish this book. I would have enjoyed this much more if I was in middle school still. Like, if I would have picked this up when it was released, I probably would have been the diehard Shatter Me girly as well, but I picked it up too late in my life. As a 23-year-old, it's not doing it for me. And that's not to say that a 23-year-old can't love and enjoy YA books. YA fantasy is in my top 2 of favorite genres. I love so many YA middle grade books that were written and targeted for 10-year-olds. I adore some of them. I just don't think this one has as much to offer me, if that makes sense. Like, there are certain YA stories that can offer something to a reader of any age, and I feel like this is not offering me anything that I am gobbling, swallowing, drip down the side of me, don't out for your leg, you know? Holy shit, like, this is... It's the middle of April! But yeah, overall, I would give every book 1 star. I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry. That is based on my personal enjoyment and experience reading the book. It's not judging it on like its artistic value. With this, I can't think of one thing that I actually liked. Yeah, I got nothing. To all my Shatter Me stan accounts, I love you. I support you. I don't want you to take this personally. I feel like I'm terrified to post this video. I hope we can still be friends. I probably love a bunch of books that you absolutely hated. And that's the beauty of reading, right? That really is just the beauty of reading. So overall, Shatter Me unfortunately did not work for me. I feel like we're literally about to have like a goddamn tsunami or something. So I gotta go, but I'll talk to you all in my next video. I'm sending you lots of love and lights. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye!